What's going on, people? Big up, 12th man's back. The Arsenal roundabout is back, and I thought we would do a show with a panel yet again about Arsenal transfers because it is the 1st of July, which means the transfer window for Arsenal apparently is now opened. I don't know if Liverpool and City are getting fines for signing players when the transfer window isn't open, but we shall see. Look, of course, it's tongue in cheek. Arsenal are doing some business, it seems, and now things are starting to pick up. Whether you're happy with those signings or those links is obviously a different story, but I'm sure we've got different opinions on this panel tonight. Big up to Christian back in the house. How you feeling now, bro? Are you better?
I'm better, man. Yeah, I'm good. Little ill last week, and now we've got the heat, man. It's been intense. I haven't had a fan for the last 3-4 days. At night, it's been hell, man. So then today, I was out. I went to B&Q. I went to Home Base, looking around. I managed to go to a little trusty market near me, just where they sell everything. The little boss man just had about 100 fans. I was trying to haggle him down. He had this massive metal one. And I was like, how much is that one? I was like, I want that one. He was like, nah, $79.99. I was like, what? I was like, boss, today is going to be, supposed to be the last hot day of the year. Well, not of the year, but like the last. He was like, no, look, I'm not going down on the price of no fans. And then I found this plastic one. You see it just over here. And it was $29.99. So I was like, I'll just get that. I could not live tonight without a fan, man. But yeah, all right, back to football, back to Arsenal. Yeah, we finally signed a player, which is good to see. I'm sure we'll talk about it. And yeah, some good links to some decent players, which sound a bit more positive.
Absolutely, man. We're going to talk about it. We've got D in the house as well, bruv. How you doing?
Yeah, good, bro. Good, bro. Yeah, similar story to Christian, man. There's not much different, but yeah, in terms of the transfer window, man, don't know, man. I'll wait for us to get into that before we. You know what I mean? I'll wait for you to ask the questions and.
Of course. Man. There's a lot going on, man. There's a lot of links today. DJ back in the house. I know you weren't about last week, mate, but you're here again, mate. And how are you feeling other than being sweltering hot like the rest of us?
Yeah, I'm all good, Dan. I'm all good. Just keeping an eye on this merry-go-round Arsenal Football Club. Links, signings, who we're linked to, who we're not linked to, what's gone quiet. It's all getting a bit... Yeah, I'm on tender hooks, Dan, to be honest. Yeah. Making me sweat even more. If I'm going to be brutally honest with you. But yeah, I'm all good. It's nice to be back, Dan. Thank you very much.
Nah, come on, man. Always welcome. We've got Lee Gunner and Kenny Ken that are going to be here very soon as well. So big up to those two. They're going to jump on. Also, let's start with you, though, Chris. Oh, well, before I do that, let's not forget the sponsors, man. Let's get QR codes scanned. Let's get the match bingo done. We've got tonight Real Madrid Juventus after this. This one's actually going to be a good game. So let's get the match bingo cards for this. Let's click on the link in the description. Let's scan the QR code. Let's get the $5 into your account. Let's get your cards and good luck. And I hope you win, man. There's been a lot of people that have messaged me saying they've win. At the moment, I need more Gooners to win because we've only got Liverpool fans winning at the moment and they've been winning enough. We've got Newcastle fans and Fulham fans and Wolves fans that have even won ahead of Arsenal. So let's make sure we get the Gooners to win. So come on, man. Make sure you scan that QR code and get Match Bingo downloaded and play this evening and let me know how you get on. Christian, Eze and Madueke, both being linked with Arsenal. Eze, I think, more heavily than Noni Madueke. I would love Eze. I would not love Madueke. I don't care if he's going to be back up to Saka or if he's going to potentially be a good player one day. £50 million is what Chelsea want so they can go and assist getting Kudus. No, thank you. That is not a signing that would excite me. Eze, however, would excite me. And it's a player that I would love to see at Arsenal. I think he's versatile. I think he can play in a number of positions, give us some technical ability, creativity, that bit of flair and spark, and also help us in low blocks as well. I think it helps that we got into the kind of left 8 attacking midfield and also left wing. And he probably could do a job on the right if Saka was to get a knock as well. But Noni Madueke, not for me. What do you make of both these players and the links that we've got so far to these two, bruv?
Yeah, I mean, to start with Eze, me and you did a show a couple of weeks ago. I don't know if you remember. And we did a segment 3 in, 3 out. Yes. And one of your ins was actually Eze. This is before any links. I think he was linked to Spurs at this point. And you mentioned Eze.
Yep.
And look, yeah, a player I've always liked. I think he's been, no disrespect to Palace, but I think he's been above Palace for quite a while. He's been their best player since Zaha left. Well, actually, Elise. Him and Elise were kind of on par. Elise obviously went off to Bayern. And look, man, he's won his trophy now at Palace. It kind of seems like the perfect end to his Palace career. And we know he was at Arsenal as a kid. There's an interview where he says when he left Arsenal, when he got released from Arsenal, he was devastated. He was in tears. It was always his dream to play for Arsenal. And look, I think he could do a job. I think he really could. I don't know exactly where he starts or who he starts over. In my opinion, I don't think he starts in the 10 ahead of Martin Odegaard. I don't think in Arteta's opinion he's going to start in the 10 over Martin Odegaard. Whether he starts on the left over Trossard or Martinelli, that's another question. Where even is his best position is another question to get to. But look, there's no doubt that this guy is a quality player. He's, I don't want to say a ceiling raiser, but he's a floor raiser. If Trossard was to go, if Fabio Vieira moves on, someone like Sambi Lokonga leaves, he definitely improves us. I don't know if he starts week in, week out, which is my only qualm. If we're going to spend 50, 60 million on him, is he going to be on the bench most games? Is he going to play FA Cup? Or is he going to start in the league and the Champions League? Because if we get some of the other players we're linked to, if we get a Rodrigo to play on the left, if we then get a striker to play up top, does Rodrigo start on the left? Does someone else start on the left? Does Odegaard start in the 10? Does Declan Rice start in the left 8? Zubimendi in the 6? I don't really see where his place is in the starting 11, which is my only worry. But I really, really rate him as a player. My only thing is, are we just a tiny bit... He's going to want to start, right? He's been quality at Palace. He's going to start week in, week out. Can we offer him that right now? I don't know. Would I take him? Absolutely. I think, like I said, I think he's a quality player. He's one of the only Premier League players that is a dribbler, loves taking on a man. Every time he gets the ball, he's forward thinking. He can cross on his left. He can cut back on his right. He's got a shot from outside the box. Like I said, really, really like him as a player. My only worry, does he start?
Yeah.
And then, on Madueke, missed me with that one, man. I don't want that guy anywhere near Arsenal. I didn't want Havertz anywhere near Arsenal. We paid 65 million for him. We're talking about 40, 50 million for Madueke. If we do that, man, I will seriously question, and you know I love Arteta, but I'll question him. I'll question it. I've questioned his talent ID before. I think some of the players he's brought in have been dreadful. Come on, man. Noni Madueke. Just the fact that Chelsea want to get rid of him shows you that he's not good enough to be an Arsenal squad. And I think they did a poll on AFTV the other day, and 99%. Oh no, that was Nicholas Jackson. I'm wrong. But look, if we put a poll out here, I'm sure at least 90-95% would say no. Is there something in there that Mikel Arteta and Andrea Berta might see that we don't? I doubt it. I really doubt it. He scored a hat-trick last year against Wolves. That's kind of the only highlight of last season for him. Every other time I watched him, he played on the right. He was dreadful. He went over to the left. I think towards the end of the season, he was a little bit better. But look, man, we're way above that. Way above that. So look, I see Saeed in the chat. Noni Madueke should be going United. That's his level. That's his level. Ooh. If he wants to move where he's getting big money and he wants to be at his level, he wants to be starting, go United. Go Spurs. That's more his level. Stay at Chelsea. I think Chelsea's maybe even too high for him. That's probably why they're trying to get rid of him. I see Chelsea making big moves. I think Pedro's a good signing. Liam Delap. They're moving past Madueke. So for him to go from here to us makes no sense. He needs to go down a bit. Build out a little bit. Yeah, you got Cunha and Mbeumo. But look, Madueke, squad filler. He can sit on the bench for a bit. But in my opinion, he's got to go down a level before he comes up.
Look, I think you're talking facts, and I don't think United will even want him either. That's how bad it is. Big up to Saeed every time, by the way. Make sure you're following Saeed. Let me come to you, D, because I know that you're very vocal about how you see things. Eze, I think he's a baller. Noni Madueke, not for me, bro. I'm with Christian. I don't think this is a good signing. I don't even think it's a good squad filler. Not for £50 million. And we're not only just going to be putting him on the bench. We're going to be allowing Chelsea £50 million to go and buy who they want, Kudus or whoever on the wing. That, for me, is just a no-no, bruv. So what are you telling me?
100%. I agree with you 100%. For some strange reason, we're the only top club that gets linked to random players. Jackson, Madueke. We're getting linked to Norgard. We're signing Norgard, Kepa. All these players. We're the only team that gets linked to these type of guys. Madueke, for 50 million, I don't trust the club to buy Madueke and him not play. I can almost guarantee that he will end up playing. We've got Havertz in our team that plays every week. we've got. If we get Madueke in the team, I guarantee you he starts playing all the time. I can guarantee it. If we get Nico Jackson, I can guarantee you he's our main striker. I can guarantee it. This is the only issue that we've got with all of these things. We're being linked to players that are not making it at the clubs that we're better than. We're better than Chelsea, and we're being linked to their players that don't get into their team. How does that make sense? That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense to me. Eze, of course, is a good player, but even what Christian was saying about where's he going to play, I don't even care about where he plays. I just want him in the club first. We'll worry about that after. Bring him in the club, then we'll think about where he plays after, because he's a quality player. We've seen how good he is. So bring him to the club, then we can figure that out. Same with any quality player that raises our standard, we need to get right now. Because all the other stuff, I'm not interested in any backup players. I'm not interested in any squad rotation players. We've already got Trossard that I don't even want in the team. Martinelli, Havertz. I don't even want these players in our team. So if they're going to be squad players, I'll accept it. I don't want to buy any more squad players until we improve the first team. I'm not interested in the squad players. I'd rather Waneri as a backup player than Madueke. I'd much rather, without a shadow of a doubt, I don't want Madueke in our team. I don't even want Madueke on the stream, talking about Madueke on this stream, let alone in our team. And it's 50 million. What's wrong with Waneri? Is Madueke better than Waneri?
No.
What's wrong with Waneri? Why do we need to be linked to Madueke when we've got Waneri in our team?
I'd rather play Dalman or Waneri than I would Nani Madueke. Real talk. Like, I think this guy is awful. I don't know about you, DJ. I saw this, right? Let me bring this up, because this, to be fair, right, this will be linked to the Madueke chat and the Eze chat, right? But, well, not the Eze chat. I don't know if you saw this. I see this on Twitter today, right? Out of the last 7 seasons, 6 of them, we've bought a Chelsea player. Going right the way back to David Luiz, Willian, then we had a break, then Jorginho, Kai Havertz, last year Sterling, this year Kepa. This obsession with Arsenal and Chelsea has got to stop. It is embarrassing. Now, I wouldn't mind so much here if we were taking some of their good players, if we were going after Cole Palmer, or maybe we fancied Caicedo, or maybe we even went for a Pedro Neto or somebody like that instead of a Madueke. But Kepa and Madueke and Willian and Sterling, tap me out of this, man. Like, go learn from your mistakes. Stop this absolute waffle and nonsense and go and bring in your own right winger. Yeah, because even we can go back to Gallas and Czech, and we can go back to Yossi Benayoun, and we can go back to Lassana Diarra, and then Willian. I'm sick of him, man. Sick of him. Like, we got to move away. I hope this is a nasty joke, if I'm honest with you, DJ. What are you telling me?
Do you know what? I'm going to give you some facts here, Dan, because I'll tell you where I'm at with this football club, and it's worrying, because under this manager, we've signed 6 goalkeepers, including Kepa today. So that's 6 goalkeepers. He spent £240 million and over on 11 defenders. Out of 34 signings, he's only signed 6 attacking players. And in those 6 attacking players includes Willian, Marquinhos, Havertz, and Jesus.
And Sterling.
So if you see, it's all right looking at the moment and looking at where we finish in the league and all of that. But when you start looking at the nuts and bolts of where we are as a football club, it's becoming an absolute joke. And we're linked now with this Madueke. And I know it's just madness. And here we are going round and round and round in circles. And the reason why we're linked with these players is because we're not serious enough club going forward and putting money on the table to go and sign players that are proper. Gorkarez and Sesko, by the way, are not world beaters, but they're the best of the bunch that's out there at the moment. All this business and everything else with this football club should have been done weeks and months ago. And here we are going into the 1st of July. We was promised all this war chest. These players are coming. We didn't sign anyone in January because we were going to sign these players in the summer, or wait till the summer. And here we are, 1st of July. I was told on the 1st of June, be patient. Be patient. I've been patient, Dan. I've been trusting processes. I've been through phases. I've watched this madness unfold. No trophy. 6 goalkeepers. 11 defenders. Make it make sense, for God's sake. Season ticket prices going up through the roof. and I'm having to watch Madueke possibly come into the football club, and it's just crazy. Why has Sesko gone quiet? Why has Goalkeeper gone quiet? Why? Probably because the players have seen the light and probably thinking, do you know what? I want to keep my options open. I don't want to go and play for that club. Look who we've signed now, £400 million on defensive midfield players. Letting Partey go and bringing in Zubimendi, who's probably a decent player. But all of these players that we're linked with and all these players that he's bought, we keep going on about, oh yeah, we're at that level now and he's got us competing. Well, why ain't he doing anything about going to the next level and actually winning something? Why are we still messing around, digging around, clearing out bins of players, trying to get scraps from players, other people's cast-offs and everything else? And as for Eze, I'd play him in the 10 because you've watched Odegaard kick a stinker for all season as our captain, not shown up for the last season and a half. If Eze's there, he plays in a 10. He gives this guy a kick up the backside and challenges him for his position. About put him on the left. Why put him on the left? You don't play on the left. Put him in a 10. He drops into pockets. He makes things happen. He creates space. He drifts in and out. Give him a free roll. No, but tell you what this guy will do. He'll bring him into the club. He'll play him on the left. He'll tell him to sprint up and down, defend, make sure that you're working hard off the ball, defend. Don't want you in the final third where you can be a threat. No, you get back and do your defensive duties like he has Saka. Flogging him to death, hamstring injuries. Eze then goes down at 27 where he's having to work too hard and he's not using him in the right areas. And this is where we are. This is where we are, Dan. And
you like the Eze signing, though, DJ, yeah? You like the Eze signing?
I said Eze 2 seasons ago. I wanted Eze and Elise 2 seasons ago. We missed the boat on Elise for some unknown reason. For some unknown reason, we didn't sign Elise. We see him go by, like the Ivan Toney, when we should have had him last summer. And here we are. We let Ivan Toney go, which we could have had for 40 million, and now we're linked with Madueke. Are we serious? What is this club? I said it was a circus weeks ago. Well, I'm sorry. The way we're acting is a circus. We're becoming a banter club again. The signings are not coming in and they should have come in. We ain't officially announced. And it's funny how we can announce Kepa on the 1st of July, yet a player we was linked with in February, Zubimendi, he ain't even linked, Dan. Make it make sense. Oh, but it won't be Arteta. Oh, it's not Arteta. It's Berta's fault now. Well, Berta weren't around when all these Muppets got signed under this player. 11 defenders, £240 million. Berta weren't around then. 6 goalkeepers, no Berta then. Havertz, no Berta. Willian, no Berta. It's an absolute joke. The biggest problem with this football club has been mismanaged financially and on the field. Mismanaged. You can't. We've got a squad full of defenders and no attacking players. We still haven't got a striker, Dan. I heard last season, all we need is a striker. That's all we need. If we'd have had a striker, we'd have probably won the league. I heard that the season before. Oh, he's bringing Jesus in. He knows how to get the best out of Jesus. He's worked with him at Man City. Guy's been a scrub. Absolute scrub and a waste of money. He's sitting on the sickbed earning 250 grand a week, Dan. And yet we can't give Havertz an extended. We can't give Partey an extended. And yet Jesus is sitting there on 250 grand a week and he ain't even going to kick a ball till January. Tommy Asu, one of his 11 defenders that he signed. 6 minutes of football, 100 grand a week. It's a mess, absolute mess. And no one can convince me otherwise. Because until I actually see, and then it's, we're going to get Rodrigo, we're going to get this. Rodrigo's a pipe dream. All this nonsense has got to stop. Rodrigo will not be coming to Arsenal. How are we going to get Rodrigo if we're signing players like Norgard? Norgard, then. Make it make sense. Norgard wouldn't even go in.
I'm trying, bro.
Don't even want him. Honestly.
I don't get it. Listen, I think you've said a lot of facts, bro. I've got to be honest with you. And look, before I bring Lee in, I'm just going to do some of these super chats that have come in whilst we've been speaking. Chaitanya, big up to you. Seriously doubt we'll sign a striker. We might sign a bunch of wingers as Arteta is hell-bent on playing Havertz as number 9. I would not be surprised. There's a lot of people saying that. I do think we'll get a striker, though. I mean, we must. Total Eclipse says, my new account, bro. Mod me up. Big up, bro. Smash the likes, everyone. Of course I will, mate. I hope you're well. And big up to you. Ali says, I think it's pretty obvious that the Chelsea board allegedly have nudes of Arteta. Is the only reason I could explain our obsession with Chelsea rejects. It is bizarre, isn't it? And it has to stop. Anton Anonymous says, Liverpool's new signings go straight into Arsenal's team. Facts. Arsenal signings won't even make our bench. Not looking good, bruv. No, it isn't at the moment. And I hope things change soon. Musbar says, to go to the next level, you must sign Madueke. 60 and 10 should do it. That's a market opportunity right there. Lee, let me give you a little stat before you come in on the Madueke and Eze stuff, right? DJ kind of half beat me to it. I did a little bit of calculating today because people have said, have you actually looked at how much we've spent on players and how much we've spent on each department? And it actually did shock me when I calculated it, mate. We've spent 800 million euros, which is just over 700 million pounds, right? And I broke it down today and I was stunned because we've spent 414 million pounds on our midfield, 260 on our defence, and only 80 on our attack. That is shambolic, bruv. That is absolutely shambolic. I don't know how we've done that, why we've done that, and who is 100% responsible. And we'll come into that debate. 70 million pounds on 9 goalkeepers. It is quite worrying, really, in that department of attack. Surely, Lee, we are going to see players in more of the ilk of Rodrigo than Madueke. Please tell me this, ?
I think you'll be extremely negative, if I'm honest. It's like, come on, mate. We've got a Champions League semi-final. We've got a League Cup semi. Finished second again. Man City have just been knocked out of the Club World Cup. They're going to be knackered. They look finished. Liverpool, second season syndrome. That's not going to work, is it? Now, what are you all moaning about? This frees up money for Rodrigo, mate. Or Nico Williams. Or Barcola. It frees up all the money for all these mystery strikers and wingers like Gyökeres and Sesko. That's what we're being told. The reality is it's a load of bollocks. Let's just be real with it. This manager, is a joker, mate. And I've been telling everyone since before he got the job. And I've been saying it every single flipping day since he's been here. How many more times do you need examples of this, people? How many more examples of crap signings? Oh, but he can do a job. Can he win me a fucking league? Sorry, Dan. Can he win me a league? Well, if he can't, well, I don't want him. Would Man City sign Norgard? No. No, they wouldn't want him. Would they sign... In fact, here's a better question for you. If Kepa had such an amazing season at Bournemouth, like everyone keeps waxing lyrical about, why didn't they sign him? Why didn't they want him? Because I ain't heard them being linked to him. Why are we buying him? Let's not forget as well here, this is the same geezer that went to Real Madrid to be their second choice goalkeeper, and ended up being third choice. Lunin played the whole season in the end because Courtois was done with an ACL. Not only that, how comes Real Madrid only paid €1 million for that whole season loan? How comes it's a 1 million deal plus the wage? How does that work? Because then Bournemouth went and done 3 million on him. Now we've bought him for 5. How's he falling upwards? How does this happen? How are we paying 5 million plus wages for a geezer? When Real Madrid had him for a whole season and paid 1 million plus wages. 1 million euros, that is, as well. It was 1,060,000 they paid in euros. It's about 800 grand.
You don't think Kepa's worth 5 mil?
He ain't worth a wank. He's shit.
30 years old, very experienced goalkeeper, full season at Bournemouth last year. 5 mil.
He's rubbish. Why didn't we keep Cole Hine? We could have saved that 5 mil and the 75, 80, 90, 100 grand a week we're going to pay him and keep Cole Hine. Because if he's only a backup, like everyone keeps telling me, then why don't we just go and keep the geezer we've already got in Cole Hine? Who, by the way,
has 0 experience. When was the last time you saw Cole Hine play?
Last season, he played the whole season at Valladolid.
No, I'm talking for Arsenal at top level.
When was the last time Kepa played top level at Arsenal?
Played a whole Premier League season. Of course he did.
Yeah, well, he played a whole Spanish La Liga season. What are we doing here?
there?
Yeah, why don't we go and keep the geezer that's not going to cost anything because we've already got him. He's already on tiny, pitiful wages. He'll get a little pay rise, keep him sweet, put him on 20, 30 grand a week or whatever, 35
They
grand
obviously
a
don't
week.
rate him, Lee. They look internally. Obviously, the goalkeeping coaches look at Cole Hine and say, this guy's not good enough to be our backup.
Well, they've said that about Ramsdale after doing money on him. Yeah, which, by
we
the way,
saw that
was a
Raya
complete waste
was
of time.
100% better than Ramsdale. That was the right choice.
Okay, fair, cool. He is
I just don't
but
think
at the same
Kepa
time,
was
they
the
also
hill
thought
to die on him.
Runnison was
5
better.
mil to bring in Kepa, an experienced goalkeeper. I don't think that's the one to complain about. If you're talking about,
well, why didn't we go and buy
Norgard,
Scott
I'll
Carson
understand it
then?
a bit more, but even then,
Because Scott Carson's an experienced goalkeeper. Why don't we go? We could have got loads of goalkeepers. And so I'll tell you what we could have done. Yeah, I'll tell you what we could have done. We could have just sacked the manager and fucking ended this facade in the first place. Because let's be real with it here. Yeah, we're going nowhere fast with him. Right? Cole Hine's on 20 grand a week. Give him 30, yeah, and he'll be happy to play second fiddle at Arsenal. Yeah, I watched him all season at Valladolid, and yeah, they got relegated. He was actually their best player, if not, well, actually, maybe their second best player. Yeah, after Raul Morro, yeah, who I've been banging on about on every flipping show that I come on, telling you this is a left winger who can play right wing, left wing, yeah, and he's a baller. Guess who signed him for 12 mil, including add-ons? Ajax. Yeah, I've been telling you about Alex Baena, 45 million euro plus 5 add-ons. Yeah, guess who's just signed him? Oh, Atletico Madrid. Well, why didn't Berta sign him then? Why didn't he sign him for Arsenal? Yeah, Alberto Malero. Yeah, we were apparently done deal for this summer, 60 million euros. And trust me, I've got all the receipts on these crap journalists that waffle nonsense. This was a done deal. He played for Las Palmas. 60 million. Arteta admires him. Of course he does. Yeah, and he's going to be a massive piece of the jigsaw going forward in the summer of 2025. Well, how comes 60 million euros it was as well, apparently, the deal. Yeah, how comes he's just signed for Villarreal for 15 million then? Why don't we go and buy him? That's a market opportunity. All this market opportunity crap. Yeah, why don't we go and get him? He was on 13 or 14 grand a week. You're telling me we couldn't go and buy them 2 wingers, yeah, and put them into our squad? Because if we're only looking for backup options, this is all I keep hearing. Yeah, it's a load of nonsense. Backup options. Why don't we go and buy players that are going to walk into the first team? Why don't we go and buy the creme de la creme? Why don't we go and buy the best players and make the players that are here fight for their spots?
Thanks.
Yeah, didn't do Thierry Henry in the arm, did it? Yeah, didn't do him in the arm when he was sat on the bench. Yeah, didn't do it any of these other players that we've had over the years when they're sat on the bench in the arm. Doesn't do Man City players in the arm. Riyad Mahrez scored a hat-trick in an FA Cup semi and was benched the next week against Bayern Munich. Imagine Starboy scores hat-trick to get us to a final and we bench him. This fan base would cry their eyes out. Yeah, that's why these teams keep winning. Yeah, Liverpool just won the title and the first thing they do is go, right, we're having Florian Wirtz, mate. Why didn't we buy him? Because he walks in our first 11. Why don't we go and buy Kelleher, their second choice goalkeeper, because he gets in, yeah, over Kepa. Why don't we go and get him? Oh, because he's 18 million quid. And what? Yeah, why don't we just keep Cole Hine? 20 grand a week, and he'll be happy to play second fiddle at Arsenal. Yeah, put him on 30, give him a new deal, job done. Now we're going to go and buy this geezer who's been shitting his entire career, that once upon a time cost 70 odd million quid, and this fan base have dressed it up as, oh, well, you know, it's cheap, it's only 5 million, it frees up money for somewhere else. No, it don't. He's going to be on there or thereabouts the same amount of wages as David Raya, and he ain't going to barely play. So what's a waste of money? Might as well keep the geezer on next to no money who's already here. This club has been, and like DJ said, it's been piss poorly managed, right? And at the same time, when you look at it, right, you look at some of the wage increases these players have had. How does Martin Odegaard be on 85 grand at Real Madrid? Okay, fair enough. He was a loaned out player. Fairs. Comes to Arsenal, we put him on 115. That's a decent increase. That's decent. Cool. It's not a massive jump. He then wins next to nothing. Well, he ain't won nothing actually with us. Yeah, and we go from 115 to 240. Who authorised that? Who authorised Tomiyasu's new contract, extending that extra year? Who authorised that? Guy's never fit. We've let Tierney walk out for nothing. Partey walk out for nothing. Jorginho scored the other night, and in his first game, he set a goal up. Yeah, he's walked for nothing. I'm not saying I'd want to keep Jorginho. What I'm saying is, we did the same with Ethan. Yeah, not Ethan, sorry. Smith Rowe. We've done the same with Reece Nelson. We got rid of 4 attackers last summer, and we brought in Raheem Sterling. Who authorised that? Whether I want all of these players here or not is irrelevant. But the fact and reality is, whoever's running this shit needs to fuck off. Because I'm sick to death of this crap. And then everyone's sitting there chatting, not you guys, but everyone's online is just sitting there chatting crap. If we wanted Gyökeres, go and pay the money. We want
Can I just
Sesko, go and
comment
pay
on
the
that,
money.
bro?
And if we and what we should be doing as a serious club, Dan, is buying them both.
Yeah, I agree. We should get both. We should get both. And look, I want Gyökeres, and there's a lot of talk that people are talking about in the chat now that, again, is coming out that this is the guy that we're going for. Now, I'm sick and tired of this, guys. I'm not going to lie to you, but I will share it anyway. It's only information. It's not saying we're getting him. But apparently we've made the decision on the new number 9 and now progressing on personal terms with Sporting striker. That's the first one that's come. The next one that's coming.
Who put that out there?
I'll tell you after, because it's going to be linked to the same thing, basically, mate. Which is L'Equipe in France. Arsenal close to reaching agreement with Sporting for Victor Gyökeres. A lot of people saying that he is now the one we're going for. How good are L'Equipe? I don't know. Apparently they're massive in France. God knows how they know. Another one that's come in. Arsenal are close to reaching a verbal agreement with Sporting centre forward Gyökeres, who wants to join the Gunners, according to L'Equipe. Again, don't know how reliable they are. Maybe someone knows that I don't. But some people
can I just say one thing very quickly, Dan? Sorry, mate. Then I'll shut up, because I've been waffling, right? But let's just be real with this. Yeah, this guy's on next to no wages. He's on 46 grand a week. I think he's on 46,000 euros a week. Right? He's going to look at 29 being on 280 grand a week. He scored over 50 goals last season. Yeah, the club that he's at, the guy is now at Man City, I think, that did the gentleman's agreement. All of this is a load of shit. If you want the player, put the money on the table. If not, go and get someone else.
No, this is what I don't get, Lee. Who do we want? Like, people say to me, obviously, when we want Sesko, but why are we still mucking around with Gyökeres then? If we clearly want Sesko, just get him. If Sesko's mucking us around, why don't we just go and get Gyökeres? Like, let's be real. Why don't we really just act like a big club and either go and get both of them or slap 150 down on Isak? This is what I don't get with Arsenal. Like,
but I think we're talking about different things, though. I think like we're obviously Gunner's irritated by the Arsenal as a whole, but he's talking about different things to what we're talking about. Like when you're talking about, say, being linked with Madueke, it's very different to talking about why Odegaard got 115 a week. You know what I'm saying? It's two completely different points.
But the reason we're linked to players like Madueke and signing players like Kepa and Norgard is because we are paying these players way too much that are here. Yeah, so this is why we're shopping in the bargain basement, because our wage. I don't think you realise how fucked our wages are. I genuinely don't think most people see it.
I get it, but we haven't signed Madueke. That's the point. The point is,
we signed Kepa, we signed Norgard, bro. At the end of the season, you weren't sitting there going, "I know, let's go and get Norgard. He can be a good backup." Nobody was saying that. Nobody wanted him. Nobody said anything.
I wouldn't. Norgard's not a bad backup, is he?
Well, he is. Because he ain't good enough.
What?
He ain't going to win. What? He ain't going to help me. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll give you the easiest breakdown in the world on this. We have five midfielders as it currently stands. Norgard, Odegaard, Zubimendi when it's announced. Yeah, Declan Rice. Yeah, and who did I say? And Mikel Merino. There are 5 midfielders. So he's a good backup until one of them gets injured, and now he's in the team every week. Yeah, he's a good backup for Kepa's a good backup. What if we get an injury to Raya and he's out for the season?
No, listen, in an ideal world,
we've got 5 midfielders, bro. 5.
Yeah, in an ideal world, I would have kept Partey. That's what I wanted. I think Partey is better than Zubimendi. But what I'm saying is that doesn't change the fact that Norgard is not a bad player. You're equating, you're putting the two together, which is not really fair on the fact that Norgard is not a bad player. Like Kepa's not a bad backup goalkeeper. Norgard's not a bad backup centre midfielder.
Norgard's not an Arsenal player, though, is he? Surely you can't be saying to me that Norgard is good enough to play for Arsenal, whether it's.
But Norgard is he better than? Is Merino better than Norgard, for example?
I would say yeah.
And I don't rate him at all. I don't rate Merino. He's better than him.
You have to ask your question. We're a big club. We're a massive club. Okay, one of the biggest in Europe, one of the biggest in the country. And we're going after players like Norgard. Liverpool wouldn't even consider him. Man City wouldn't even
going after like he was our number one target, though, DJ.
Man United wouldn't even consider him.
$50 million to be a backup.
And I hear people saying about it'd be a come down joining Man United. No, it ain't. It'd be great. Any player that plays for Manchester United, biggest club in the world, no matter what position they are in the league, no matter what problems they're going in, it's dreamland. Even Man United wouldn't even go to Norgard.
Yeah, but we didn't just sign Norgard. We're signing Zubimendi as well. Like you guys are just saying Norgard as if to say he's.
Yeah, but we need a squad. We haven't won anything.
You just said I don't
want to sit. I don't want to sit at the Emirates when Zubimendi gets a red card, God forbid, or he gets injured.
So who do you think we should have signed as a backup?
And
Who
I'm
do you think we
looking
should...
at the bench and I'm seeing Norgard run onto the
So
field.
who do you think we should have signed as a backup?
Yeah, but before DJ answers that, sorry
You
to
know?
cut in, yeah, right? Why do they have to be a backup? Because this is the difference between the top teams and the rest of us. Man City rotate their team all the time.
We're not Man City. You keep doing it. People keep doing it.
No, but D, we're a bigger football club than Man City.
Well,
Yeah,
we're
we
not
spend
until Man City spend money. Man City spent money.
January.
Man City and Chelsea have spent money for the last few years on untold amounts.
Until January just gone.
We can't spend 100 million on Grealish to sit on the bench. We can't do that. You know that.
No, well, you can because the two teams you just mentioned, right? Number one, we outspent Man City up until January last year.
No, it's saying that about,
right? And number two, if you let me finish it, otherwise I'm just going to fuck this off. So I don't need to be here. I've got more important things to be doing. Yeah, so unless you're going to let me talk, I ain't even going to bother sitting here, mate. Yeah, let's just be real. Because every time I speak, Christian talks over me. All right, it's jarring. Yeah, real talk. Yeah, at the end of the day, the reason them two clubs, Chelsea and Man City, keep spending money and can have the money to spend is because they run their academy right. They sell players better than us. We've let all of our academy players walk out of this club for nothing. They've all gone, one of them's at Ipswich now. Chelsea made 24 million off him. We gave him away for free to Chelsea. Yeah, Murray Hutchinson. Yeah, we let what's his name? Obi Martin go Man United for free. They go and get 10 million for him now if they want. Yeah, Aiden Heaven, he walked out for free. They could go and get 30 million for him now if they want. Yeah, and this is why when people want to sit there and say you're linking, D said it, you're linking all these things together. Yeah, I'm linking all these things together because they are linked, bro. If we're not selling well and we're allowing players to walk for free, whether that be academy and or first team, this is why we do not have the spending power. Now adding the fact we are not winning fuck all and haven't done for 5 years. Why would anyone want to come here unless we overpay them, which we have for nearly every single player we've got at this football club? The wages are ridiculous.
It's completely backwards. That's completely backwards. It's completely wrong. Well, I can tell you it's wrong, right? And you know how to prove the point? Why do we have to wait until the 1st of July to sign £5 million Kepa?
Because we've wasted our money and the new fiscal year kicks in.
So we wasted the money. Man City went and spent 300 million in January. Chelsea have been signing players in the last PSR year. Yeah. Chelsea sell hotels to themselves. Yeah. There's clubs that sell their women's football teams to themselves. Yeah. These teams operate on a much bigger budget, a lot higher spend power than we do. Right? Manchester City do. There's no denying it. Chelsea do. Yeah. Real Madrid do. PSG do. We are not in that bracket. As much as you don't want to hear it. Right, and Arsenal fans, of course, I don't want to hear. We haven't been in that bracket for the last 20 years. How many times have we sat there as Arsenal fans and gone, why are we signing this second fiddle player, this third fiddle player? Because we don't have the spending power to go out and compete as one of the biggest clubs in the world. When we signed Declan Rice, £100 million, we kind of put ourselves in that table, right? And us fans thought, oh, maybe something's changing. Maybe the Kroenkes are investing more. It's not necessarily about investment. It's about what you bring in. It's about how much you expend to how much you can spend.
But you know what it is, Christian, as well, just quickly, yeah. Arsenal's
cannot spend as much money as these big clubs. We just can't, Dan. We can't.
But but the thing is, though, bro, I get what you're saying, right? But
you're saying the reason is about academy players. It's not about that at all.
I never said just academy players. You took one little bit out of my whole fucking paragraph and changed the whole subject and then agreed with everything I said anyway. And this is what you people do.
The wage bill at Arsenal is 112,690 a week. At Liverpool, it's 77 grand a week, like average, right? The average at Man City is 105. How have we got more of a higher average wage salary than Manchester City and Liverpool? How is that right? And by quite some distance as well. How can we be putting Luis Diaz on 55 a week and Martinelli on 180? This is the problem we've got. Like, I can appreciate that it was an absolute shocker when we were having Kolasinac and Mustafi and Ozil and Aubameyang's wages and everyone was ranting and raving about it. But aren't we kind of back there again now with just different names like Zinchenko? And the likes of Martinelli, 180. You're like, really? I love Martinelli, but come on, man, 180 a week.
But there's no denying that we've been mismanaged previously and we've made mistakes. There's no denying that. But the point I'm making is we're just saying the same things that we're saying anyway. The point that we're at now, where we're signing players right now, Kepa's not a bad signing. Norgard's not a bad signing. Madueke would be an irritating signing, 450 million. If he came for free, you would know who would be complaining if he was on a free transfer. Would you be moaning if it was on a free transfer?
Yeah,
but it's because of the money that we're paying. We wouldn't want to pay 50 million for Madueke. But
why didn't we go and buy Elise?
No, but that's not.
He's not going to start over Saka, is he?
That's not the point I'm making.
Oh yeah, but let's go on. Sorry,
Go on.
No, I was going to say, he said he wouldn't start over Saka, and this is the problem we have at this football club. You all have your favourites, yeah, and this is why elite clubs keep winning and we keep fucking around. It was 12 years yesterday. We bid 40 million and won for Luis Suarez yesterday. 12 years. What's changed in 12 years? We still need a striker, and we're still fucking around, and we still ain't winning nothing.
And we still don't have the spending power to compete at the top table like we all want to.
Well, how do Liverpool then?
If we could,
how do Liverpool then?
Liverpool don't. Liverpool actually don't. Right?
Until now, manager that keeps winning.
Name a player before Wirtz that they've gone out and gone, all right, maybe Van Dijk as well. They've gone, that's the best player on the market. We're bringing him in.
Everyone's available on the market. Pay the money. They bought Alisson and Van Dijk. They bought Fabinho, and everyone wanted Fabinho.
There's a player that everyone wants. They're going to pay more.
Ain't nothing to be sneezed at, though, is it? £750 million is nothing to be sneezed at.
It's a lot of money.
Surely with that sort of money, what he's had to spend going into his 6th year, surely now we should have had some sort of squad and squad depth with some sort.
But that's what we're trying to rectify now, though, isn't it? You guys are complaining about the things that you're talking about.
No, I'm talking
We're trying to rectify that now.
I'm not talking about people coming from Brentford. No disrespect. I'm talking about quality depth. I'm talking about a Semenyo.
And Bremer would come from if we brought Bremer, we'd be happy
coming off the bench. Instead of that, we're messing around with kind of players that would just about walk into a West Ham or a Crystal Palace team.
No, I disagree.
The way you talk about our squad is like we wouldn't finish top 10.
No. I'm saying, how are we in
an injury-stricken season last year? Got to the Champions League semi-final, right? 21 injuries with this same squad.
Christian, you're missing again. You're not listening to what I'm saying.
No, but you've said stuff like about spending power.
Like it's a joke. I never mentioned squad. You mentioned spending power, and I said £750 million to me over my Arsenal career lifetime is nothing to be sneezed at. I think £750 million is quite a decent bit of money to assemble.
I agree with that, but how do you rectify it? We're rectifying it now, aren't we? But we are rectifying it now, aren't we?
By buying players that.
No, but the things that you're complaining about. So how does he rectify it? By doing what? How does it get rectified? By doing what?
Going into the market and signing decent players.
Norgard is not a decent.
I'm not taking rejects from Chelsea and Willians and people like
this. No, forget that. Forget Willian and all that. Forget Willian and all those guys.
Then, is he?
I'm saying from now, this summer, we're looking like we're signing Kepa, who is a backup goalkeeper.
This summer, that joker shouldn't even be here.
No, wait, one second.
He's mismanaged and won nothing.
Wait, but one second.
This conversation if we had a decent manager in
place. No, but let's forget all that bit. I'm talking about this summer. This summer, we're signing Norgard, who is a proven player.
So was William.
No, okay.
Yeah, but forget Williams in the past. I'm talking about this summer.
You players, D, and I'll ask you I'll ask you a question. So we're signing Norgard. Go on.
Yeah, Kepa, who's a proven player.
Yeah.
Zubimendi, who we all know is is a midfielder that we all regard as quite highly rated, right?
Yeah, and most people haven't watched him play. But carry on, sorry.
Yeah, say that again.
I said most people don't watch Sociedad every week, but they've just seen the comps.
So what, is he not a quality player, man? Is he not regarded as a quality player?
He's
then
I'm confused. I wouldn't say he's highly.
He's a very good player, but he ain't fucking Rodri, which is what our fans think he is. But sorry, go on. I'll cut you off. Sorry, bro.
So do you want us not to sign him, or would you rather us sign him? Which one would you rather?
I'd rather us have him party and fucking rise, if I'm honest. Bro, when you're saying about rectifying the situation, yeah, right? This is the problem I have, yeah. You're rectifying the situation, saying they're good backups, they're good proven Prem players. Cool. Christian just said a minute ago, an injury hit season. Yeah, injury hit season. Who's to say that ain't going to happen again then? So, we can't buy this player because we can't drop Saka. Why can't Saka be dropped? I want a player that's better than Saka to get him out the team, and if he's performing better than him. Now Saka's got to fight for his place back. If the guy comes in, so if we'd signed Elise for 45 million, it was on our doorstep. No, let me finish the year. On our doorstep, 45 mil. Now we're sitting there as fans looking at articles that are probably shit anyway, but you never know because it is Chelsea. Yeah, 50 million for Madueke. bro, this club is tapped. 45 million for a lease hour, but we can't do that. Starboy.
You're going on a tangent again. You're going to your own.
Why did we play him at number 10 if he can't?
You're going on your own monologue again. I'm stick to the things that we're talking about, the direct points, which is Zubimendi. No, we haven't signed Madueke, so I don't know why we haven't done it. We are. Dan asked us about the rumor mill, and we had our conversation about the rumor mill. Now stick to the point of who we're actually signing. Norgard,
Dross,
and Zubimendi.
Right.
Okay, so your argument is that that we shouldn't have signed Norgard. Who should we have signed in replacement of Norgard? Because Partey's leaving, so who should we have signed? We bought Zubimendi and Norgard, so who should we have signed instead?
Partey.
You know, it's like, am I speaking a different
Partey needed to leave the club.
Partey's leaving. Partey's not there.
Yeah. Why is Partey leaving?
You know
because
why?
This manager said if he stays fit, this manager's words, if he stays fit this season, we need him to be playing a lot more. Blah 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 blah. His words, bro. So why don't you pay him the money to stay then?
You know why?
Because that's a good backup.
Christian, let me just stick to this one point. You keep going back to other things, and I'm saying directly, Partey's going. You're the manager of Arsenal. Partey's going. He's going. That's the decision. He's gone. So who do you want Arsenal to sign at this point?
Paul Partey's gone. I would have took Johnny Cardoso, who's just gone to Atletico Madrid, by the way, 30 million euro.
So he's better than Zubimendi.
Nobody watches.
So he's better than Zubimendi.
No, you buy them both. That's my point. You buy them both.
We bought Zubimendi and we're buying Norgard. But you're saying that
Norgard is 31 years old. He's 14 months younger than Thomas Partey, right? But it's a good backup. Cool. Well, let's see when Zubimendi is injured, God forbid, or red card, God forbid, or Declan Rice is one or the other. And let's not forget here, I think a lot of people are thinking this is just going to be great backups and we're going to go and splash the money on it elsewhere. Cool, I hope we do. Yeah, because then he ain't got no leg to stand on. And I think a lot of people are also forgetting next year's a World Cup. You watch these players, they're ducking out of tackles anyway. Yeah, now they're going to duck out of even more from January onwards. Yeah, we've got 8 players that have currently got scars all over their bodies that have had injuries and surgeries recently. Yeah, we've got Tim Brewer's coming out doing an interview that no top gooner found anywhere. Yeah, I found it and done a reaction to it. He's having another surgery. Yeah, I don't think people realise that there's about 8 or 9 players. What's Gabriel Magalhaes going to be like when he comes back? Oh, but now, don't worry, we bought Mascara. Cool. Guess what, mate? If we pay more than 10 million quid for him and put him on more than 30 grand a week, he ain't worth it. Go and buy someone that's decent.
Yeah, but our defence is solved. We know our defence is solid enough.
So why are we buying a defender then?
No, but that's a different point. I'm saying we're talking about the transfer window. You keep getting to random points. We're talking about
how many more defensive midfield players do we actually need, though? Seriously.
Well, he would have bought this one who's going Atletico as well as Zubimendi. So apparently,
so you're saying to buy another one.
Why are we getting these attacking mid? Why are we looking around? Why are we even? Because what you're saying, D, right? Okay, if this is all we sign, let's say the window shuts tomorrow and this is our squad: Norgard, Zubimendi, Havertz, Marino, Saka, and what we got on the bench. Yeah. Where do you think we are finishing next season?
Yeah, that's not a good. That wouldn't be a good.
No. I'll ask you a question.
That's not a good window. Yeah. Sorry. Okay. Go on.
It's not a good window. So let's just say we get these. These are the players now. Where do you think this team's finishing next season?
The same as last year, maybe second, third, maybe
second,
third. Yeah, third.
Are you serious?
Havertz up front. Serious. We finished second with Havertz up front. I'm confused. I don't get it. What's Havertz not playing?
Let me just come in quick.
This is what I'm saying, man. It's hard to.
What's Havertz not playing last season? I don't get it.
We've watched a different team for the last 3 years than everyone else. I've seen this team build and build and build, right? Get better and better. The style of play has been good. Champions League semi-final, finishing second in the league with loads of injuries. But people are talking like we've been finishing 12th. Right? This is a very, very good squad with very, very high quality players.
To make it better then. Sign the players to make it better.
You're saying let's close the window. Why would we close the window now? Why would we close the window now?
It's just open yesterday or today.
The 1st of July. Talking about closing it now with the players we signed.
So let's take it towards a new level then, because look, I think just quickly to come on the points that have been raised, it's a really good debate, by the way, as it always is with you guys, right? Smash the likes, people. We got 2.2k in there, man. So make sure you hit the like and subscribe, people, and follow all of these guys. I'd say this quickly on the midfield position. The thing that peeves me off, and I don't really like to give my opinions too much on these shows because I do it enough every day on here, right? That's why I like to get you guys on. I think why we are annoyed with the midfield situation is I genuinely did believe that Partey was staying because David Ornstein told me, and apparently he doesn't get anything wrong. So he told me he was staying, Thomas Partey, and Zubimendi and Partey was going to be our 2 central defensive midfielders. And I thought to myself, that's actually really upgraded on Jorginho and Partey. But when I'm looking at Zubimendi and Norgard, I don't think that's an upgrade on Partey and Jorginho. I've got to be brutally honest with you. I haven't seen enough of Zubimendi to say he's a downgrade on Partey, but I would personally look at both and think that Partey's better. And Lee will tell me probably the fact that I'm right or wrong on that. So he watches Zubimendi more than me, right? When it comes to this news about Gyökeres, that is actually breaking everywhere, by the way, that we're going for Gyökeres, I'm not saying we are. That's the information. I don't say if it's reliable or not on here, right? I'm not an ITK. If we do go for Gyökeres and Eze, I can get behind that. I can get behind it. But I tell you what, I do not know how to answer this question, right? Maybe you can answer this one, Christian, right? Who's in charge of these transfers here now? Because I have no idea if it's Arteta, if it's Berta, if it's both of them, if it's Garlic Boy. I have no idea who the hell is getting hold of these transfers and bringing them in, because it looks to me like Mosquera is more kind of influenced by Andrea Berta, from what we understand. It sounds as if Sesko, Zubimendi are Arteta's. Sounds like Gyökeres is more Berta. What are we making of this? Like, who's actually in charge of these of this situation, Christian?
I don't know, Dan. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. I don't know who's in charge. I say this all the time. I don't know what goes on behind. None of us do. None of us knows who's in charge of the money, who's in charge of final say, who's in charge of picking who we say. Like, no one knows, right? One name that I will mention, who Lee, you might know this name, Kia Corruption. You know who he is?
Yeah, the agent,
right?
yeah.
If you know that name, you know some of the Chelsea players that we brought in, right? So there's definitely some dodgy stuff behind the scenes. Edu being Brazilian, some of those links. Now, I assume it's going to be Andrea Berta, right? Because we know that he was in charge at Atletico. Pretty much all the signings, everyone they brought in. So you'd assume that they're bringing in a sporting director for his talent ID. He's good at making deals. I think he was a businessman before he was in football. So I now assume it's Andrea Berta. I think Arteta's come out. They asked him in the press, who's in charge now. He says, look, I ask him. He's the one who's in charge now. So that's where I want it, right? Because Edu and Arteta together, they made some decent signings, but they made some dreadful signings, right? So I'm happy Edu's gone. I want Arteta, just go put your feet up for the summer, right? Maybe give him a little list. These are the players I like. But I want Andrea Berta to be the one to make the decisions, right? We know he's got a good talent ID. He brought Rodri to Atletico, right? He signed some good players at Atletico Madrid, some serious players, some serious attacking players. He made mistakes as well. Signed João Felix for over £100 million. That's
not a mistake. He sold Griezmann for 127 that summer.
But
then he brought back Griezmann for 20 million a year and a half later. So that's not a mistake.
And he got money for Felix as well.
I'm not talking about Griezmann. I'm talking about Felix.
Yeah, I understand. And when people say it's a mistake, this is the only one people always call out. It's not a mistake when you sell a player for 127 million and buy a player for 120. You then buy the player back that you sold for 127 million for 20 million, and then you still get money for Felix.
I'm not talking about the money or the business. I'm talking about strictly footballing reasons. As a player, a talent idea was a mistake. He wasn't good enough to start at Atletico. He came to the Premier League.
So if we signed João Felix this summer, would you be happy with that? Because you're happy with Norgard.
Of course I wouldn't. What?
But you're happy with Norgard.
Why are you spinning? I didn't say I'm happy with Norgard. I think it's a decent squad option. I didn't say I'm happy with Kepa. I think it's a decent squad option.
Do you think João Felix would be a decent squad option?
I said a few weeks ago that I wasn't necessarily happy with Zubimendi. Every time I've watched him, I've seen in the Europa League many times. I've never thought, wow, this guy's a world-class player, blow me away. Right? There are players that would make me feel that way. None of them have come in yet.
No,
right?
Christian, you got to ask him who would he rather sign. You can't. He asks questions. You have to ask the question back. Like,
bro, I've reeled out about fucking 10 names. Come on, man. I've reeled out loads of names.
In every decision that's made, I'm not.
You said Cardoso. You said that.
I said we should have bought Baena, Cardoso, Moro. Yeah, we could have bought.
And none of those players are Premier League proven. None of them are Premier League proven.
Neither's Zubimendi. Neither's Mikel Merino.
Norgard is. Zubimendi's rated higher than all those guys, isn't he?
Zubimendi's better than Norgard by a mile, yeah.
No, but Zubimendi's rated higher than the guys that you mentioned, isn't he, around the world? He's rated higher than them, isn't he?
Yeah, why? Because our fans sit online and every player we're linked to, they make out as the greatest thing in the world.
No, forget our fans.
D. Can't forget the fans, because the fans have a massive voice online. So you can't forget the fans, bro. Yeah, because
Zubimendi is regarded higher than the guys that you mentioned, isn't he? Is he not?
By who? By who?
The world of football. Zubimendi is
What does that
regarded
even
as
mean? What does the world of football mean?
So then who? I don't know. So then I don't understand.
Because you just dismissed all the fans. So who's the world of football after the fans then?
I'm saying. So are you saying Zubimendi is not regarded as one of the best DMs in the world? Then are you saying he's not, or what are you saying?
No, but I'm asking you who is regarding this player as one of the best DMs in the world. Because if you just dismiss the fans, then you must have other options of who's regarding him.
Above, come on, Lee, man. This is like what?
No, come on, stop doing this, man.
No, Lee, you are trying to spin it though. I've seen a video of you saying he's quality, and he's not coming to Arsenal.
Whenever I've said on the stream he's quality, what I'm saying is he's not regarded as one of the best DMs in the world. No, because I'm asking him a question, but he don't know the answer to the question. He said, "No, you can't talk about the fans." Because I mentioned the fans when he mentions them. Yeah, they gassed him up. Nobody watches La Liga, bruv. Yeah, let's be real with it. Yeah, I get told every day, "What are you watching this shit for?" Yeah,
so is it a good signing or a bad signing, Zubimendi?
It's a good signing. Depends whether it goes to be a great signing.
That depends on a few things. Man City signed Zubimendi, you'd be saying it was a great signing.
No, I wouldn't.
You would. Yeah, you would. Of course you would. I've seen you call him a quality player before. And now we're signing a quality player. You're saying, "Oh, it's only a good signing if."
When Man City signed Calvin Phillips, I said he's shit, bruv. So what are we doing here?
When who signed where?
No,
when Man City signed Calvin Phillips. No, and Dean still ain't answered my question, by the way. Yeah, you want me to answer your question? No, I'm not. No, so now you're spinning Calvin Phillips. I asked you a question. Zubimendi is regarded as one of the best DMs in the world. Your words. You then said take the fans out of the equation. So who's regarding him then?
All right, well, just calm down. Just calm down.
No, I'm calm, bro.
What I'm saying is. All right. You're very well. You're all amped up. You're not in here.
No, but
it's getting out in here.
No. Let's do it. Let me ask Kenny Ken then, because obviously Lee's.
Yeah, because he can't answer the question I've asked him, and that's 4 different questions he swerved.
Kenny, do you?
So who's regarding Zubimendi? It's a simple question. Who's regarding Zubimendi as one of the best DMs in the world?
You're trying to go back and forth instead of
trying to go back and forth because you're a politician.
You're saying a bad signing. You're saying Zubimendi's a bad signing. You're saying Kepa's a bad signing.
I never said that.
You said we should have signed Cardoso. You said
I said we should. No, I didn't. I said we should have signed them both.
I said to you,
rewind the stream. I said both.
I said, is Zubimendi a good signing? You said, depends on whether he.
I said, no, it's a good signing. It depends. No. Let's not do this. Let's not do this, Dia. Let's not put words into my mouth.
Is he good or not? Is he good or not? Yes, he is.
He's a good player. Yeah, he's a good player. It depends whether he becomes a great player. Yeah, he's a good player. However, I watch the league every week. You fans online, and then you disregarded the fans. So you said he's regarded as one of the best DMs in the world. So who's regarding him as that then? That's what I'm still waiting for.
Why are you saying the fans? Why are you saying that you watch it every week and you don't regard him as the best? So when Real Madrid are going for him, when you don't think when Liverpool going for him last year,
Real Madrid go for him?
You said he was going Barca.
Oh
yeah, I did. Guess what? You said we were going to win the league for the last 3 years.
How's that work? You still said it though. You said he's going Barca. Yeah. So was he going Barca
guess what? Guess what? Has he rocked up yet?
So did Barca want him or not?
I have no fucking idea, bruv. However, you still haven't answered the question. Who's regarding him as one of the best DMs in the world?
Change the subject. We're just going.
See, because he can't answer. Get out of here, D, man. You can't answer the question, bro.
I asked you, is he a good signing? You're doing all of this, bro.
No, I said straight out of my own lips, and I've said it multiple times. He's a good signing.
You want him to be a bad signing for some reason. You want him to be a bad signing.
See this though. So now you're losing an argument that you've got yourself into. You're now making out that I'm the negative one. Yeah, because I want him to be a bad signing. No, I don't. I actually think he's a good player.
Not negative. So say that then.
I did. You didn't hear it. I've said it 3 times on the stream.
Let me bring these supers in, then I'll bring Kenny in, man. Because
rewind the stream when you get back here. After this, back to reality, right? And rewind it. I said it 3 times. He's a good player. And Christian said I say it every time he's mentioned. I say it all the time. I watch Sociedad. Yeah, which is why I told you Mikel Marino's shit. And guess what? He turned out to be shit. But now we put him up front. He scored a couple of goals. And everyone's knocking one out. He's crap. Zubimendi, on the other hand, is very good. However, under this manager, there's going to be major issues, bruv.
Okay, well, let me bring this in. Naval says people go to Arsenal for the money. Same with United. It's nothing to do with mentality, and it should be. But Arsenal are stupid. There's zero mentality. You come Chelsea or City, it's winning and winning with no excuses. Well, not so much Chelsea anymore. Now they did win a Conference Cup, I suppose, but Manchester City for sure. Ironic clicks, Leclerc. I cannot say that word. Am I saying that wrong? Leclerc. Is that right? Leclerc. Gyökeres to Arsenal agreement close. There's absolutely loads and loads of stuff.
I thought we already had an agreement. I thought we already had an agreement. Flowers told us about 50
We've
times on
signed
this
him
channel.
about 3 times, haven't we?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Is that all? Is that all? Like, what is Lewis-Skelly? Is that quite? It's quite big in France.
It's probably the Sun newspaper of France, mate.
Okay. Ali says, D, forget all that. Fam Zone TV. Oh, I love that. Sean says, we don't have the financial power to compete, but employ the second highest paid manager in the Prem. Facts. That is facts. I'm sorry, that is facts. Jay, D, that's in the past. That's a different point. They're coming for you, D. They're coming for you.
They're on me, man. They're on me.
Bro. Lee and DJ are right, even if we do have a striker. Naval also. Oh, what's happening? Why is this bugging, man? This is bugging for me now, Lee. StreamYard. There we go. Naval. I'm not even mugging. It is a fact. Why do you think Chelsea win, City win, Liverpool win? We're going to win. We have that confidence. We know hands down these 3 teams are guaranteed to win something. Unfortunately, that's been right in the last few seasons. Jay says, D probably thinks that Pedri needs to be Premier League proven. And then the last one is Lee. Every player we link to, you clown it. Why? Anyone else is a market opportunity. Doesn't make sense to me. Morata, who you didn't rate. No, you did rate Morata, by the way. Didn't you?
Well, that's what I'm saying. These people take one bit of a sentence, make a whole new fucking story. They're like, Gil. Yeah. I've been saying Zubimendi is a good player since way before we were linked to him, and now he's been linked to us, and we look like we're signing him. I've been saying the same thing. So
that's fair. That's fair. So we signed a good player. We signed a good player, and then we signed a Prem-proven player for backup. That makes sense.
Bro, what does Prem-proven mean? Torres was Prem-proven, and he flopped at Chelsea. William was Prem-proven, he flopped at Arsenal. Bro, I could do this all day long. Michael Owen was Prem-proven. Yeah. Went to Real Madrid, come back and didn't really hit the heights ever again, did he? We could go on and on with Prem proven. Andy Carroll went from Newcastle to Liverpool, flopped. Yeah, how many players have been Prem proven and flopped? Yeah, just because they're
how many have been Prem proven and not flopped?
I don't know. You tell me.
Well, exactly. See, that's what I'm saying. You're doing one.
Well, no, you tell me. You've asked me a question. You answer it. Tell me the answer.
You just said how many have flopped. And I'm saying to you, why don't you do the successes as well? You're the one doing the research.
Okay, let's do the successes of players that are not Prem proven that have smashed it. Thierry Henry, Cristiano Ronaldo, Sergio Aguero. Do you want me to carry on? Eden Hazard, Alexis Sanchez. I could go on. Cesc Fabregas.
I don't even know where you're going with this. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm saying we signed a Prem-proven backup defensive midfielder. That is what we've done. Do you want us not to sign a Prem-proven one? Or do you rather sign
the best, mate? I want to sign the best, and he ain't the best.
Let me bring in Kenny because he's been patient waiting there, and he will be polite. Kenny, news. Well, I say news. What should I call it? Information circling. Eze and Gyökeres are being mentioned today. Eze, to be fair, has been mentioned for the last couple of days. I think Romano said there's been no official bid or official agreement, but there is massive interest there, and we met with the camp. Obviously, Gyökeres today, the French report L'Equipe is stating that he has agreed to come to Arsenal. We're looking at a 5-year deal, and Berta is trying to get the deal done. What do you make of that news? Do you think there's truth in it, or do you think it's a load of rumours and waffle, bruv?
I don't know, man. The Gold Coast have moved, isn't it? This Berta guy, man, he's making his presence felt, isn't it? I mean, one thing I learnt from him, and he's only been here 5 minutes, he loves an open goal signing, isn't it? I mean, Kepa, open goal, mate. Jesus Christ. Bournemouth can't afford Kepa's wages. Arsenal can. Yeah, I'll go Arsenal. Oh, yeah, I live in London. I mean that is great sporting director work. But that's him to a T. And obviously you've got Norgard. He's never going to say no to Arsenal, is he? You know, he's just there. He's going to get games because Arsenal, Arteta, overworks his players. So yeah, he's definitely going to get games. The Gyökeres thing is just, I don't know. I'm still the thing with Gyökeres, and I want to choose my words really carefully. And I'm going to have to choose my words carefully, right? I don't believe it for 1 minute, first and foremost, because I still think that Sesko is the main. And that for Gyökeres to come to his football club when we've been actively speaking to Sesko since last season, to the extent we've virtually got a man until he changed his mind at 11th hour. Now, for it to all... Because yesterday, Leipzig, reduced their demands. Because clearly the players said, look, I'm not having this, I'm ready, I'm good to go. Now, a French a very reputable French newspaper has said that we're after Goalkeeper. Look, I still think it's Sesko. I think the Goalkeeper thing is just a pie in the sky. I think it's there to keep everyone honest, and it's just, it's just something to say. Look, that's what Berta does. It's an open go inquiry because they've got a clause in his contract allegedly, and he's good to go because he's ready to leave. But for me, I'm probably the only person who has reservations about Goalkeeper. I don't have reservations about his record, but I have reservations about whether he'd be able to, the player that can transfer his talents.
Why do you have that, Kenny? Because that's a genuine question. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, because I think it is a risk, whatever striker we go for. But is it just because it's the Portugal League? Is it because he's
Portugal League? No, nothing to do with Portugal League. It's something to do with, obviously, play. You can turn it around because De Bruyne didn't really do it at Chelsea. Then look at him; he went abroad, came back, great player. Hazard didn't do it at Chelsea. Look at him. So it can happen. I just had my reservations that Brighton, nothing happened. Academy. Then he went to Coventry. No Premiership team winning for him. Then he's got his reputation. Let's get it right. He scores a lot of goals. I just have my reservations, not against him a player. I just talk about the business side of things. I can't believe for 1 minute that Arsenal Football Club, as a business, is going to give this guy a 5 or 6 year contract at the age of 27. When you've got a nipper who's 21, 22, and you can see where I'm going, you've got this sort of thing where you can put a clause in his contract, or his Sesko, he can ask for that clause, and then if he gets itchy feet and gets adventurous, you just say, right, pay that clause, we're quids in. Or if a big team comes in for him and we can make some big money in him. I don't see the business side of Goalkeeper. Well, I do see with Sesko, and then it's Mick Arteta. He's the alpha and omega. I've seen no evidence whatsoever that Mick Arteta is up for this player. Whilst I see plenty of evidence that he's after Sesko. So when I look at L'Equipe, yeah, it's basically stirring the porridge, isn't it? It's
do you think that Berta can take that attention away from Sesko, from Arteta, and say, no, man, Gyökeres is the guy? Do you think Berta's got the power to do that?
Well, it depends on the situation. All I've seen from Berta at this time is open goal inquiries and open goal signings. And we're going to see that for a while. We're not going to see the best of Berta until probably a year and a half, and then by that time we're going to find out who really has control of football matters. At the moment, it's Mikel Arteta. He's a team manager. He's the alpha and omega. He's the player. So when I hear people, trying to blame the board and blame everyone else but him, I'm not having it. If you've got that amount of control over football matters, which includes team selection, then unfortunately, with the total control, then you have to take the total accountability. And you have to take the criticism, good or bad, or constructive or destructive. That's where my beef with Arteta is that everyone seems to move the goalposts. Oh, it's the Cronkies. They don't give them enough money. I've got 700 million reasons to disagree with you. Oh, they don't get him the player wants. Oh, I just got a Declan Rice reason to disagree. I mean, come on, help me out here. Stop moving the goalposts. Let's see. Let's see whether. Well, it's just an opinion. Samuel says I'm stupid for not wanting Victor Gyökeres. Well, I'm sure a lot of Liverpool fans wanted.
No, that's how you feel. Can I say one thing quickly?
One minute. Let me finish. I'm sure Liverpool fans.
Go on.
They saw the goals that he was scoring in the Champions League against Liverpool. Look what happened, Nunes. First game, headbutts Crystal Palace. Never look back, is it? I mean, I doubt if he's got double figures, but that happens. I'm not going to say Gyökeres isn't a player, but I could tell you right now, I'm not convinced that Gyökeres is going to score 30 or 40 goals a season in this system under Arteta. Whilst the way Arteta wants to play with the Sesko guy on the side, it lends more for goals around the team. That's what Arteta's about. All you guys are saying, striker. You need to sort of like get the scales out of your eyes and watch how we played in the last few years. The reason why we didn't win the league in 2023-24 is because we shat the bed against Aston Villa. After shitting the bed before, where we got ourselves in a position of control, we shat the bed. That's why we didn't win the league. we were getting goals throughout the team. Facts. The season before that, when we had an 8-point gap, we weren't talking about a striker because we were getting goals from 4 players. Jesus, before he got injured, Saka, Odegaard was getting, and Gabriel Martinelli. Good to goal. What happened? Liverpool happened. West Ham happened. And then all of a sudden, shat the bed. I understand where everyone's talking about striker. I'm telling you now, if you think you're going to win the league with Martinelli and Trossard in your team, even if you had a striker, then you're in Claire Cuckoo land, because they are definition of average. I'll tell you about Martinelli. When you guys say, oh, he played well for Brazil, let me tell you something now. With Martinelli getting the 94 Brazil winning team, would Richarlison getting the Brazil winning team? Would Matheus Cunha, Joe Linton? Have you ever seen Brazil in their prime have a player like Joe Linton? Help me out here, mate. Stop. Let's concentrate.
Yeah, but that's the same players that they're saying that Arsenal players wouldn't get into the Newcastle teams. Joe Linton. It's the same people that people are saying we should sign.
Which one? Yeah, I'm talking about Martinelli. I'm talking about the Martinelli that everyone bigs up, where we have seen a decline, where we clearly need a left-sided player, and rather than take the plunge and say on your bike, thanks for the service. Oh no, let's keep him. Because we think he's going to still be elite because, there's extenuating circumstances, or let's keep him as backup. So we've gone from saying he's elite to a backup. I mean, make your minds up. Who's more confused? Is Scoopy? Are we at?
Do you guys think that Eze is going to come in and displace Martinelli? Do you think he's coming in as a left winger?
He can play 2 positions, mate. Play 2 positions.
That's all right. I thought you said Odegaard. He's not taking Odegaard's place. Teacher's pet, isn't he?
I don't think he's going to displace Odegaard. I think he could and should, but I don't think he will in Arteta's eyes.
But that's the same as what I was saying earlier, Dan, about Elise. Elise can play in the 10 under right. Yeah, and this manager ain't dropping star boy.
No.
Yeah, he's going to run him into the ground. And I wouldn't be shocked if he don't make the World Cup next year. So he's going to buy somebody. He's been trying to get rid of Martinelli for time. However, he's now on 180 grand a week, Dan. Who the fuck's buying him for 60 million? And 180 grand a week.
We need Saudi. Saudi's the only place he's going. He ain't going.
So now maybe Trossard will be the one that goes, but Trossard ain't going to be worth a lot of money now. He's over 30. Obviously, players apparently expire at 30. Yeah,
and it's like want Martinelli to go.
I couldn't care less who's here. I just want to win a league. I want to win a cup. I want to win something. Yeah, I don't care about any of these players. Couldn't give 2 flying fucks about them. I want players to win me a title and trophies.
But I don't want Martinelli starting. I think he's a squad player. Happy with him to stay, but he's on 180k a week, so we're in trouble there. But I don't know, Christian. Like for me, Eze comes. What I don't want is Eze and Madueke coming in the Saka cover and left hand. That is a joke. If we end up with Sesko, Madueke, and Eze, I'm sorry, that's mad. It has to be.
Why don't we go and get Chris Wood? Chris Wood's Prem proven.
Well,
he is.
I think we need to get rid of the Madueke tour. I don't think that's going to happen. But then I said that about Havertz, and that happened.
Yeah.
Mistake of Arteta's career so far.
And Lee is such a wind up, yeah. Lee is such a wind up because he says, yeah, why do we get Chris Wood who's Prem proven? But he doesn't say why people doubt Gyökeres because he's not Prem proven. You get it? It's the same principle, it's the same basis. Yeah. People doubt Gyökeres because he hasn't proved it in the Premier League. That's the whole point.
Yeah, because people think football. People think football's a different.
You're lagging, sir. Interrupted, Christian.
People think football's a different sport in another country. It's the same shit, bruv, in every country. It's a simple game confused by idiots. Yeah, it's a simple game. You put the ball in that end, in that goal, as many times as you can. You keep it out of that one as many times as you can.
Let's let Christian finish.
And you go and win the league.
Go on, Christian.
That's all right. I'm enjoying the battle between these two. No, I made a point earlier at the start about where does Eze start. But then to be fair to Lee, he made a good point about it doesn't matter where he starts. We need quality to challenge the quality that we already have. So Lee, you're right on that, man. Look, if he comes in and he can play 10 and he can play left wing, then he can challenge Odegaard. If Odegaard's having a stinker, Eze comes in. Odegaard was poor last season, right? So Eze would have come in if we had him last year. Martinelli and Trossard, no one really solidified that left wing spot. Eze comes in, right? So I do agree to an extent. I'm just not used to Arsenal moving like that. I'm not used to us signing a 60, 70 million pound player to come in and challenge. I'm used to us signing a player like that to come in and start. If we want to start moving like that, that's where I want to be, right? I would have loved to bring in Elise to challenge Saka, but I knew we wouldn't because we don't. When we have a player that has solidified their position, we don't change it. right? Martinelli solidified that position 2 years ago. We brought in Trossard to be the backup. Martinelli's levels dropped. Trossard, they've been going like this since then, right? We need someone to come in, or we need Martinelli to step up, right? To play left wing. We need to bring in a Rodrigo and Eze who's going to be good enough, or one of them has to step up. Right wing, I'm happy with Saka. Gyökeres, I'll be happy with up front. I understand what Kenny's saying. I think the style of play is obvious. The way they play in Portugal, he gets a lot of space in behind. He makes runs in behind. Teams don't play like that against us, right? We play against low blocks. Is he going to thrive? He's not that great heading a ball. We like to cross the ball into the box. So I understand the reservations about, is he going to be the guy? But I was just looking at some numbers, right? Havertz 2 seasons ago scored 14 goals in 51 games. Last season, he scored 15 goals in 36 games, right? 15 games less. Havertz is a dreadful footballer, right? But he can score 14 and 15 goals in this team, right? There's a guy who scored 100 goals in 2 years. I think he'll score goals in this team, right? We need a guy that can finish chances.
Are you talking about Christian? You got him. You got him.
Bro, look, people have taken that online and flown with it. I didn't even say it was me. That was my friend who met.
Yeah, I know.
If that happens, a lot of people are going to have to apologize. But I'd be happy with Gyökeres coming in. He's a goal scorer. We need someone who can convert their XG. We don't need someone who has an XG of 20 and scores 4 goals, right? Against Newcastle this season, in 4 games, we had 58 shots or something. We scored 1 goal. We don't need that. We need someone who's going to get 2 chances in a game and score at least 1. We need someone like Ian Wright. You give him 1 chance, it's in the back of the net. Yeah. Someone like, obviously, Thierry's not around. No one's like Thierry now. But someone who's going to bury their chances, right? And from what I've seen of Gyökeres, when he's in front of goal, most of the time he puts it in the back of the net, right? And the goal doesn't change. Doesn't matter what league you're in. The keeper changes. But if you're in front of goal, right, the size of the goal is the same. If you can put it in the bottom corner, you can put it in the bottom corner, right? The only thing that's different is the keeper and the pressure on you, right? At Sporting, you're the main guy. You're playing in a smaller league. You know, the number of eyes watching you. That's what's also different in the Premier League that people don't realise, right? The pressure on you. See it when players go to United. Look at Lukaku when he went to United, right? How good he was. As soon as he was there, he couldn't hit a barn door, couldn't put it in the back of the net, right? So if he can handle the pressure and he can come and finish his chances, bring Gyökeres, man. For me, he's the guy.
I think Gyökeres and Eze, DJ, would that excite you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, of course it's going to excite me because it's a step up from what we've got at the moment. Whether it's Gyökeres or Sesko, it's a step up. No one can deny that. I mean, Havertz shouldn't have been signed in the first place. Jesus is all but finished. So, as I said to you earlier in the stream, when you've only signed 6 attacking players out of 30-odd signings that he's made, if you can get me Gyökeres or Sesko, of course it's a step up. And this is what I've been trying to say. I mean, first of all, Norgard, he's not an Arsenal player. He's not the sort of backup I want. I want exciting players. And the reason is, Dan, the problem is that this club over the recent years has tied itself in knots. We can't move players on because of the horrendous wages. We've got players that we can't sell. And if we can't sell them, we're not going to bring in quality. And I understand what Christian says when we're, financially and everything else. But we've got a manager on £15 million a year, right?
Who's got the stream on in the background?
And what we're trying to do, we're trying to bring in quality, but we've got to offload it. We have to offload the likes of Martinelli. We've got to get rid of the likes of Trossard and players like this. Because we're going to need to bring players in. But we've not been able to do that because they're tied up with all these wages. And this is where it comes down to the manager. You have to get the best out of what you've got. Why has Martinelli fallen off of a cliff? Why has Odegaard not performing? You have to ask the questions. And if it's not working and you haven't financially got the money to bring the players in, work with the players you've got. Prove yourself as a manager that you can mix it up a bit, change things. Because if he doesn't change his style of play, Dan, we're going to have this conversation back here next season. He needs to look, the manager needs to take some accountability. And I agree with Kenny. This manager does not do that. It's all right saying bring in Gyökeres and bring in Sesko. The root cause of the problem, no matter who's at the football team, whether it's Eze, whether it's Gyökeres, whether it's Sesko, You've got to work with the players you've got. And this manager is not doing that. We look at the defensive players we've got in the team. It's players like Goalkeeper, he's going to feed off of creativity. Who's our creative midfield player, Dan? Odegaard. Saka. Who else? Zubamendi ain't going to be creative. Rice ain't really dressed in creativity. Marino ain't creative in midfield. Who we got creative players? Who have we got to feed the likes of Goalkeeper and players like this? This is what I'm saying.
Chances, though, DJ. Our problem isn't creating chances. Our problem
we
is
do create chances, but we've got to create enough chances on a regular basis, Christian, if we're going to win the titles and go far in Champions Leagues. And we're not doing that. This is
I think our problem is being clinical, man.
The style of play, he's changed the style of play. Last season, whether you like it or not, the fact that we finished second, it was crap. It was absolutely awful.
Let me let Gunnar go, because I know Gunnar, you got a stream, man. Lee, thank you so much for coming on, man. I really appreciate it as ever. And we'll redirect you and send the people over to you for the game, man. So big up to coming on, mate.
No, bless up, man. I'm going to watch some proper footballers now. Yildiz, Conceição, their market opportunities. Conceição, 10 million loan deal to Juve. Why don't we get him?
Rodrigo on the bench again, though.
Yeah, that's because they got a proper squad.
Is Rodrigo on the bench? Okay.
Yeah, they got a proper squad. They got a proper squad, mate, and that's why they keep winning stuff. Even though they were shit last season, they got Vinny and Garcia up front. Trent, Bellingham, Valverde, Ardegula, market opportunity. We've got a Turkish
we
scout.
knocked out of the Champions League, so we must have a decent squad as well.
Yeah, so same. So West Ham must have a good squad then, because they beat us last season as well.
I'm just saying, we must have a decent squad if we beat them in the Champions League.
Yeah,
I love you too.
But yeah, we're going to watch some proper players, and I'll be there literally now. Danny Carvajal's on the bench. Is he available? Kylian Mbappe's on the bench. Is he available? Oh no, sorry, it's just Rodrigo, of course.
No,
who's apparently disrespected. Who's apparently
on the bench. You know why he's on the bench.
Okay, what about Brahim Diaz then? What about Brahim Diaz?
We're talking about Brahim Diaz. He doesn't start.
Well, he does start. He played 30 games last season. Yeah, Rodrigo played 52 games last season.
They're playing Fran Garcia at left wing back, Dean Huijsen, Rudiger, Trent Alexander-Arnold. Playing a very strong team. They believe in this guy, Gonzalo Garcia, who's now starting up front. Rodrigo's been on the bench pretty much every game.
He started the first game, set up a goal, and he's been benched since. It's almost like they're trying to tell him, yo, you better fix up, mate. Eder Militao, is that a market opportunity? He's on the bench. Carvajal's just back from injuries on the bench. Kylian Mbappe's just back from the flu.
We've got Fabio Vieira coming back, though, Lee.
Don't worry, though. Dani Ceballos is on the bench.
We've got Fabio Vieira. When we could have signed Vitinha, we went and got Fabio Vieira, remember?
What about Coop Miners? He's on the bench for Juve. Maybe we should... Douglas Luiz, market opportunity, guys. Maybe we should have gone and got him. Proven.
Sambi Lokonga, another classic signing.
Dusan Vlahovic is on the bench. He scored the other day. It's a bit weird, isn't it? Why is he on the bench? He scored. Mad.
Who do you think? Do you think Real Madrid will win that Club World Cup, Lee, or do you think PSG?
No, well, I thought Man City, Madrid, or PSG at the start. I don't know. I think probably PSG. Well, if Chelsea win it, then we're all in the mud again. What phase would he be?
Man. They got a really deep squad. That's the only thing.
It's almost like they keep selling reserve players and academy players for top dollar, which is why they can keep spending.
Crazy.
Cheers, guys. Anyway, what's up, Christian? Big up to D as well. DJB, Kenny, Dan, chat. Love. We're out. Later.
Legend, man. Legend. Listen, we're going to come to a close as well. Let me just do these super chats, and then I've got one last question before we come out of here. Midnight says, D and Lee should have a charity boxing match. Do you know what? I'd like to see that, to be honest. Naval says, Premier League proven never existed. It's a made-up buzzword to keep losers happy. Look, I think it does exist. I think it's more of a less of a risk, I suppose, is how it is. It's not like, wow, they're going to bang. It proves that they've already done it in the same league. That's literally all it means. Nick says, Arsenal will do well to get third. City and Liverpool are streets ahead, and if Newcastle, Villa and Chelsea put in a good season, Arteta's done. I'll be honest with you, I don't think we'll finish lower than third. I know a lot of people do. I think we'll do enough to just get in that top four, but we won't do enough to win the league. That's my honest opinion. And at the moment, we're definitely finishing above Newcastle, Villa and Chelsea because they ain't doing anything. So right now, I think we're better than them. However, if we do nothing and they then start, then we can have that conversation, and we are going to be in trouble. So that's why we need to catch up, in my opinion. It really doesn't matter who we sign. We ain't winning anything with this manager. Arteta lovers will eventually wake up. I have to say, that is my big concern. Can we get across the line? Until he does, I'll obviously hold that reservation. Andy says, decent players under a rubbish manager. Arteta equals failure. Arteta out. A lot of people are saying that this is his last year to prove he can win something. Stuart did have a question for D, but unfortunately his computer was lagging, so he had to shoot off. But he says, using your own logic about being Premier League proven, is it a downgrade going from Partey and Jorginho to Zubimendi and Norgard? Right, that is my bang-on question. Partey and Zubimendi would have been what was needed. Unfortunately, we couldn't keep hold of Partey. Nick says Gyökeres will be on the bench and Havertz starts. Oh, my God, please don't. There's a lot of reports, by the way, lads, that Gyökeres is going to be the guy. So I really hope that is true. Yeah, you got it.
One of them ones,
it is, bro. It is. If we get him, I'll tell you what, we'll do a whole stream together, just me and you, and get your mate on. Fabrizio said that Juve are close to an agreement to sign Jonathan.
Hey, Dan, you got to get Albert on as well, because Albert's a Gyökeres man as well.
Hey, me and Albert have loved Gyökeres for a long time.
Number 9.
Brilliant stream. Dan and panel get subbing to DJB. Yeah, man. Listen, not just DJB, everybody. Let's make sure we're absolutely on it. Big up to you, Joe, as well. Kenny Ken on Instagram, Christian Tyre on all socials, and DJB Arsenal Huddle, new channel, who's absolutely flying at the moment. So let's make sure that we do that. Show some love, people. Make sure we're also following Match Bingo. Make sure you do that. QR code is in the top right-hand side. You can click on it in the live chat now or after the stream and get your card for tonight's game, which is about to kick off now. Closing question for everybody before we go. Christian, I'll start with you, then DJ, then Kenny. Who are we signing up top, in your opinion? Give me a quick fire answer, all of you.
Gyökeres.
Okay, DJ?
Eze.
As a striker. Okay.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Striker. Who we signing as a striker? Do you know what, then? I'm going to go Sesko, because I still think he wants to dig his claws in, and that's the man he wants.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm going to agree with DJ, but I hope Christian's right. Kenny, what are you saying?
Oh, Sesko. Sesko's been this deal's been in the pipeline since 2024. He's if Rick Arteta doesn't get his own way, well, then the goals posts have shifted, and his balance of power will evaporate pretty quickly. If you can't win, if you can't get a player that you've been in for a year, and then all of a sudden at the 11th hour, your sporting director, who's not a football man, comes and gets you another striker against your will. It's time to go, mate.
Yeah,
if he gets Sesko, he can have his Havertz rotating, can't he? Yeah.
Let's hope
Marino as another backup, who's a midfield.
I'll tell you one thing, right? I don't believe the lies from Mikel that he was a player that Arsenal were always looking at as a player that he looked at for a long time. That will be monumental BS.
Yeah. Well, let's see, man. We have heard this before. Gyökeres is agreed. Then Sesko's agreed. Then Gyökeres agreed. Melissa, maybe we get both. If we're a big club, we'll do it.
Yeah,
listen, go.
Where's Kai Havertz? Where's Kai Havertz fitting if you get both?
You know where he fits in, unfortunately. Number 10.
What we do need, though, Dan, I know you got to go, but what we desperately do need is another attacking midfield player, mate.
I think Eze will be that. I think Eze will be
that. Eze has to be that guy.
Player.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, I agree. Listen, we got to go. Football's on. I want to watch it as well. So let's go and have fun. Let's go and show.
Thanks a lot, mate.
Some
cheers,
love.
Christian. See you later.
Cheers, DJ.
Yeah, big up to everyone, man. Going to be sent over to Lee Gunner. Lee's on a stream now. He's going to be doing the watch along for it. So go show him some love. Big up to Christian. Big up to DJ. Big up to Kenny Ken. Enjoy the Wimbledon. Enjoy the summer. Enjoy all the other sports. Cricket if you can. Formula One and tennis if you
Friday.
And, enjoy cricket if you're a cricket fan. Tennis if you're a tennis fan. F1 if you're an F1 fan. Football will be back soon. And go and enjoy it. Go show Lee some love. Send him the Dan Potts raid. And we'll see you next time, people. We're out of here. Laters.